Hey toy fans, Aaron here. Today we're taking a look at the 12-inch Action Collection Electronic Darth Vader. Let's head to that table and check this out. First up, a quick look at the packaging, and this is a little bit wider than what we're used to seeing for the 12-inch line at that time. My guess is they were trying to keep the same height of the box since it matches the others that were released, but of course he is a taller figure. He's actually more like 13.5 inches, so he's got his legs and stuff spread out, so you get the wider box. Anyways though, in the background you do see a green backdrop. I don't know if you can really see it through here, but you got some holes to kind of let some of that sound through because you got a little try-me switch in the back. And then off on the right side of the packaging, you got that little try-me indicator letting you know that you can do that. You can push those buttons. And then a couple photos here showing you that the figure does come with a removable helmet, so it shows you the two stages of that. Of course, the helmet that you see through the packaging, the mask itself, and then you got a shot of Darth Vader without the helmet on. Just below that, nice little Kenner Collection logo, since Kenner was still the brand for Star Wars at that time. Each side is the same shot on this packaging. Star Wars Action Collection up top. Great shot of Darth Vader. Nice little spacey background, really to the entire packaging. And then on the bottom of that, you got a couple call-outs, being authentically styled outfit and accessories, that it speaks with Darth Vader's and Anakin's voice, and electronic lightsaber sounds. On the back side, nice Star Wars logo up top with a very brief description about, I guess, about the line, you would say. It's really just saying that they're exclusive figures, which I think is, they're just trying to say it's exclusive to Hasbro or Kenner at the time. And then it's, you know, great style, detail, and fully posable. Below that, you got 4 other figures that were also available in the 12-inch line at that time. And then there is that little finger cutout where you can push the sides of the button on his back to make the sounds. Below that, decent size image of Darth Vader as he was seen in Return of the Jedi, which this figure is from, obviously, since it's removable helmet. And then you got a little warning disclaimer here telling you to avoid battery leakage, which I gotta say, what, 20 years later, I am surprised the batteries in this box still hasn't leaked and that this thing still works inside the packaging. And now taking a look at the figure out of the packaging without that mask on first. It really is a nice looking figure. Definitely nicer when he doesn't have his mask on, and I'll get to that in a moment. One thing you're going to note is that I'm using a little doll stand to hold him up. He actually stands up just fine on his own, but with my turntable, it's got a slight wobble in it when it hits a certain point and the figure keeps falling over. So really on its own, without his world spinning around, he stands up just fine. First up, I'll say he's got a very nice cape, and it is 2-layered like you would expect. He's got his outer cape sitting over his shoulders and around his chest piece. And then he's got his inner robes. I'm not sure what that would be called, but that's all cloth through there. Both of these cloth items have a very nice drape to it. It sits nicely on the figure. His outer cape is just strapped on with a little Velcro strip around the neck. One thing about that inner cape that I'll say is I think it sits a little too long. Like, I mean, it drapes on the floor like I'd say about 1/2 inch, 3/4 of an inch or something. So every time I try and stand him up, it does just get in the way of the feet. I can't say whether that's 100% accurate or not. I don't know if Darth Vader's cape or inner cape, whatever you'd call it, actually drapes on the floor like that. So, but to me, it bugs me. It kind of bunches up. But aside from that, the outer cape I think has a great length to it. Going into the head sculpt for Anakin Skywalker, and yes, I'll call him Anakin because at this point he's back to the light side. Really a great looking sculpt. Some of the 12-inch figures I feel like were, you know, a little off the mark, but in this case I feel like they nailed his look perfectly, and I'm talking as far as the sculpting goes. Certainly got some wrinkles along the forehead, that nice little, you know, kind of smile and stuff going in there. The little silver tubes under the mouth area looking nice. Very nice silver paint job to those. One thing I'm not liking, the eye area. Very dark purple, and it's too dark for me. It's maybe should have been half that shade or something. Aside from that though, of course, he's got his eyebrows on this figure, and at this point I've lost track of when he lost those eyebrows. If it was the first time the special edition came out, or if it was one of the other releases where they kept making changes. But nevertheless, this figure's got eyebrows. And then of course, as we roll around to the side of his face, he's got his scars on his head. That's looking pretty good. Little bit of subtle painting in there to help bring out the detailing in the sculpt. And then on top of the head, of course, you got that big scar running from the top to the back of the head. A little bit of pink and some darker painting in there to help highlight that scar. Just below that around his neck is his, I guess the neck piece of his helmet. Great detailing within that sculpt and a very nice paint job to go along with that. You got some mechanical parts highlighted with silver and stuff on the outside of that of that neck piece. And then along the inside of that neck piece, you got some red wires and then some silver stuff painted in there. And now taking a look at the chest area where I have removed that outer cape just to get a better look at things here. At the top of his shoulder, the little armor pieces are stitched into the fabric, so you're not going to lose those. They're not going anywhere. His underbody suit is kind of like this shiny, pleathery fabric of some sorts. I don't know what kind of fabric it is, but it's looking really good. Stitched down, showing you some pleats within the fabric. His armor piece on his upper chest, while the sculpting is great and the little sectional lines are all there like they should be, I'd say this is the one bummer, if you want to call it that. I think it should be silver in a couple of those striped areas running down. You can see it's got a nice gloss black every other stripe, if you'll call it that, and then where it should actually be silver, in this case it's more of a matte black finish. As far as that chest box go, wonderful sculpting to that and a really nice paint job. I think all the button colors and stuff are looking pretty accurate. On the belt area underneath, that's looking really good. His little utility boxes, whatever you want to call it, very nice sculpting to those. And I think the color representation of the green buttons, red buttons, little bits of silver highlights are all accurate here for this Return of the Jedi costume. Getting back to the arms real quick, take a look at those hands, or in this case, gloves rather. Things are looking really good here. Maybe a little bit too large of hands. Maybe that was done since they're actually gloves in this case, but still good detailing to the sculpt for some wrinkles in what would otherwise be real fabric. These are, of course, all plastic. His right hand is sculpted to hold that lightsaber that he comes with, and that left hand is more of a half-open position, I'll say. Maybe he's getting ready to choke someone. Down through the leg area, of course, that underbody suit continues. Nice stitching and stuff going on there. And then you get down to the feet where you got his boots. Not the shiny, glossy black look that I think it would otherwise be, but the boots themselves included on this figure are rubber, and otherwise the sculpting to that, the way they look, it does look really nice. As far as the articulation goes, the head's going to spin side to side. I mean, you know, you got to hold things down to get it where you want. Otherwise, it's all going to swing all over the place. But, you know, this is loose from the head, and the head itself has some turning. And then at the shoulder area, well, you can get his arm to go almost straight out and a little bit back. But I'm not getting anything going up. And I don't know if I got joints turned in there, but I've been trying to figure that out. So, you know, even down, like he's kind of on this wide pose. I wish I could flatten the arms down just a little more. At the elbow area, you can straighten that arm out and then give him almost a 90-degree bend. And then the gloves do rotate all the way around. Does not have any waist articulation, but the legs are going to come out only about this far and not much going back either. For the knee joint, you got a little bit of bend in there, and then that's all you got. And now moving on to the helmet part of this, I guess, you know, since they're separate, I'm kind of treating them like accessories. First up, you got the mask itself. Wonderful sculpting to it. Obviously, the front of it, the face of it, definitely looks like Darth Vader. Little silver nose in there. And then the top of it looks pretty representative of what we saw in the movie. Some little gold things sculpted along the side of the head, through the forehead area. And then just lots of little bits of sculpting, mechanical pieces and stuff for the top of that. You got a little hole here because then for the helmet itself, there's a tab little peg on the inside. That goes on there, snaps right into place. And there we go. So that snaps in there. The look of the helmet now, once assembled, this outer piece, nice glossy look to it. It's what you'd expect Darth Vader's helmet to look like, although I will say, it seems a little bit tall, little cone-headish there almost. So it seems a little out of proportion. But anytime a figure comes with a removable helmet, it always seems that that helmet, that removable piece, is just a bit oversized to accommodate a better looking head. And then next, he does come with a lightsaber, as you would expect Darth Vader to. The sculpting on the hilt looks absolutely great. Certainly representative of Darth Vader's lightsaber. You got a little bit of silver paint detailing here at the top of the hilt. And it also has a loop at the end of the hilt. And that lightsaber blade is also detachable, but there's nowhere to put this on him, unfortunately. So, now obviously this is just removable because it's made of different plastic, but still, nowhere to hang the hilt. Snaps back into place. Obviously, as I said earlier, that right hand is sculpted to hold the lightsaber, and it fits in there just fine. And then for those electronic sounds, you got two buttons, one on each side of his back, and that's going to get you different phrases. When you push that left button, you get... And then pushing that right button gets you some lightsaber sounds. And if you push it a second time or third time while that first sound is going, that gets you additional lightsaber sounds. So overall, this is a great looking figure. Even though I would have liked to have seen some silver on that upper chest armor piece, I'm pretty much fine without it. It's a cool looking toy. I like the addition of the electronic sounds in there that he has. Plus the fact of this being an unmasked Darth Vader, getting you the face of Anakin Skywalker. Got that battle damage nicely sculpted into the head area. So things are looking really good. One thing I will say that maybe has become evident as this review has gone on and I've done, going through articulation and stuff, is that pleathery fabric has really started to break down as I was moving it. It's showing up a little in the leg area and a little bit of breaking down along the arms. I mean, like I said, this thing is 20 years old at this point, and aside from this moment right now, since I've taken it out of the box, this is the most use this thing has gotten. So it's not surprising to see this happen. But that's just age. I still love the way this thing looks. And so that wraps up this look at the 12-inch electronic Darth Vader figure. I'd love to know what your thoughts are on it in the comments section below. And as always, thanks for watching.